Yadadai, 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 yada da 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 dum. Yada da 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 da. Yada da 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 da. Yada da 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 dum. Yada da. Yada da 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 da. Yada da. Yada da 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 dum. Yada da 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 da. Yada da 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 dum. Yada da 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 da. L'shem yichud kushabrichu ushchinte. Hineni mochan umizuman לקיים מצוות תעשה של ספירת העומר, של ספירת העומר, של ספירת העומר, של ספירת העומר. Erev Tov, good evening. Here we are in the Omer counting, reminding ourselves of this merit, of this goodness that we have signed up for. This idea that we are doing the holy work which makes us who we are, which makes us, which brings us to a place of betterment of self, of authentic self, of just understanding ourselves and questioning why we do the things we do, or maybe adding a little sanctity to our lives, as it says in tradition. And so we're closing out Lag BaOmer in the areas where there's lots of Jews, we'll just say, Brooklyn, Miami, maybe the 5 towns, but not so much anymore. But there are lots of parades, there are lots of bonfires, there are lots of excitement and celebration. We talked about it a little bit last night, about how just this idea of bringing light into the world. And so, when people are at the end of their life, some people say, don't mourn for me, just celebrate my life, or take something from me and bring it to life and to fruition. And those rabbis of then, Rabbi Akiva and sages, I couldn't think of the word I wanted to use, they've all taught us something. And we talked about, who has taught us something, who has brought us to the place that we are in this moment. And so as we close out this day of Lag BaOmer, this changing it up during this Omer period, that it's not the mourning of the passing, it is the celebration to say that we've made it to this point. Lots of bonfires, people getting married, haircuts, all kinds of things that are happening. And we made it through another day. And so some of us are just thinking about making it through each and every day. And so we show up here to do a little bit of gratitude work, a little bit of forgiveness, a little bit of work on our own moral and ethical character, a little bit of soul and spiritual work. And so as we close this day with gratitude, what are the moments of gratitude for you in the last 24 hours since we've been together? And, it's always weird on a Sunday night because we don't have a Sunday morning connection. And sometimes I think about adding it, and then other times I'm just like, how much more can we add? Just because Sunday morning is always a day of funerals, unveilings, and things like that. And so it gives us a 24-hour period. Marnie and Rachel counting, you're still together? How awesome is that? Or maybe this is a secondary visit. Who knows? Anyway, I'm glad that you're together, and I'm glad that you're watching. So that is gratitude right there, that you're together. the gratitude in this moment of this day. And on Memorial Day weekend, there's so many things that to be grateful for, to realize today. Something that my mom's father of blessed memory, or both of them of blessed memory, he was a veteran, and he always encouraged us. I remember being so young. I can't remember age-wise, but really young. And whenever we saw veterans outside of, usually it was the food store then or the post office, because people still really went to the post office a lot, they would be sitting at tables, and you would give a donation, and they would give you those little red poppies in support of whatever veteran affair was going on or whatever their group was involved in doing. And now, Andrea works for the VA, and so it just takes on a whole different meaning, of different population of paying attention to certain people. And so today, when I was spent the day with Ellis and partially part of the day with Sophia, we did a million things. If you ever need to know how many activities can be done in one day, just check in with me on any weekend of scheduled activities. And so we stopped at Target because I was going to return something. Long story short, the people were sitting outside, the veterans, and they had poppies. And so I said to Ellis, here, $5. When we get over there, it's like tzedakah. I explain it to him, and he says, okay. He goes and he puts the money in, and they give him a poppy. And Sophia was wearing one of these like crossbody pouchy things, and she unzips her pouch, and I said, sis, what are you doing? And she said, I want to give a donation also from my own money. And I said, that's beautiful. She took out $2 or whatever, $1 or $2, can't remember. And she put it in and got a poppy. And I explained to them that my grandfather, really always taught us about giving. So he wasn't Jewish, so he would say, you have to give charity. And when these people sacrificed their lives, potentially, or these people served in some way to protect our freedom, and we should be supporting them in whatever ways we can. And so it was, the gratitude is when we see and we teach others to do, and then they do it of their own free will, which is what happened with Sophia today. And so I was able to share the story, which means keeping the legacy alive, but it meant much more today because it's Memorial Day weekend. Yes, people were complaining about the Blue Angels not being able to get off on time because, there was smog and fog, and thinking like, that's not what this is about. It's awesome. It's amazing. I got to see them live from the cemetery the other day practicing, but it's not what it's about. What it's about is realizing that even when we don't feel free, there are so many freedoms, and there are so many people that have paid the ultimate sacrifice, regardless of what country they're in. Anybody that's in the military is signing up essentially to live or die by this means. And so, we're really truly trying to remember those who helped to keep our freedoms as what they are, even when they don't feel like we're totally free. So that's the gratitude I have for today. I have lots of gratitude, but that is the one to share. So if you have something to share about this beautiful day, the beautiful weather, whatever it is that you're grateful for in this moment, feel free to share it in the chat as we come to this moment, which is the moment of counting tonight's day. Let's see where we are. Bonnie, I love that you always say that. It's not the first time I've heard you say that personally. As screwed up as this country is, I'm still grateful I was born here. That's a pretty amazing statement, because it is screwed up, and there's a lot of things that need to be corrected, fixed, mended. But think about all the other countries we could have been born in, and how much disaster happens in those. So let's count together. Yesterday was day 33. Let's move it forward. Hayom arba'a u'shloshim yom, shehem arba'a shavuot, v'shisha yamim la'omer. This is the 34th day, totaling 4 weeks and 6 days of the Omer. 4 weeks and 6 days. We're coming to the end of that 5th week. I'm not ready for this to be over, but I'm happy to be in it with all of you. So here we are with our chart. We have only one spot left in this week. 2 weeks left to go. Of blessing it is. Let's do the work today. Reminder for ourselves. We always need reminding of where we are. We are in the week of Hod. We are in the week where it says that there is humility and there is modesty and there is splendor. Splenda. No, that's the stuff you put in your coffee or something. Splendor. There's gratitude and simplicity and humility. And there is the day that we fall in today, which is day 34, Yesod Sheba Hod, the foundation within the presence of self. Psalm 119, verse 34. I mean, it's a stretch, verse 34. But anyway, it's here. May I have the understanding, may we have the understanding to cherish the journey and to care for it with all of our hearts. There's so much on this journey that unfolds for us, and so many times we're shaking our heads, we're, this isn't great, we're complaining, we're kvetching, because that's what we are as humans. But we need to understand that the journey we're on is never going to be perfect. It's never going to be exactly as you planned it. It's never going to be this picture perfect, Instagram versus reality kind of life, or Facebook or TikTok or wherever you are in your social media. It's never going to be that. The reality of life is that we need to cherish the fact that we're even on this journey, right? There's so many people whose journeys are cut short so quickly, not ready. And then those that are left behind are left saying, if they only, I wish it only, I. And that's the realization, the reminder for ourselves to say that we need to care for our journey. That not only do we have to cherish it, but we have to care for it with all that we have. It's always going to be something's not perfect, something's not right, something to complain about. But if we change our focus, if we shift our attention to the idea that, you know what, we have to cherish it no matter what it is. Because if we don't cherish it, it'll be gone before we know it and we'll live a miserable life. Or we can cherish the journey. A Sunday night and Amazon is still delivering. It's interesting. Probably to my house. More packages every minute. We need to care for it, to preserve it. It's like the soul. We say, Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Every morning, it's part of our liturgy. The soul that you have given us is pure. You created, you fashioned it, you breathed it into us, and it'll be ours to hold on to until it's called back. Now, if we don't care about our soul, if it's always schmutzed up, if it's always feeling sluggish, then what kind of life, how are we feeling holding that soul as the vessel that holds that soul? So instead, if we care for the journey with all that we have, the positivity will nourish our efforts. For our soul yearns to live in alignment, right? We always want to have things aligned. We always want to have things moving smoothly. And we want it to be aligned with all of creation. At times, we get so lost and so far away. We feel so removed from what it is. By us counting the Omer together, we realize that, you know what? We might be lost in the minute, but there's something that keeps drawing us back. Something that keeps drawing us back. And some of you are typically Omer counters and maybe not morning connectors. And some of us are both. And some of us are sporadic in either. And the idea is that, you know what? We try to align. We try to do the best we can because that's all we can do. All we can do is do the best that we can. It's not going to always be exactly as we planned it, as we said. And so when we're not in alignment, when we feel off balance, when we don't feel that our foundation, Yesod, Shebahod, Yesod, the foundation is a rocky place, we need to figure out how to bond with ourselves and each other in order to stabilize that foundation. To realize that the earth is out there, to realize that the trees and the water and the sky all are calling us, offering us a place back to center. A place to say, hey, the presence of oneness is here. Be aware. that it is. The other pieces may not line up yet, but we start at the core, that which is creation, that which is our connection to the earth, to the world, to our existence here, is the foundation upon which we stand. Going back to Bonnie's comment, no matter what this country is like, we're still glad that we were born here. That this soil, that this earth, on this Memorial Day weekend, it is a soil made rich of all of those that have stepped on this ground. That is our awareness. That brings us back to the presence that is the existence of our people in our land. So we hope and we pray that we can open to the wisdom and the truth that is enveloping us, our spiritual foundation in the presence of oneness. And so with this nice weather, tomorrow's not going to be that great, but my kid tells me that we're going swimming tomorrow. I said, Ellis, I don't know if the weather is going to be like a swimming day tomorrow. He said, Ema, it's okay. If it's raining and we're in the pool, it's still going to be all wet. So we can still go in. Ugh. So anyway, if it's raining, I'll be swimming in the pool. You'll know where to find me in the afternoon. But that is the realization that we've seen so many consecutive nice days, like 3 in a row already, maybe 4. And so it's easy to get realigned when the weather is beautiful. On a rainy day, we feel that pull away, that distance or lost. But when the weather is nice, all of a sudden we have this renewed energy, this renewed connection, this renewed alignment. The foundation feels secure under our feet because the weather, the environment, the creation of the world allows us to feel that feeling. You know, the seasonal depressioners don't feel that way in the spring, right? Where we are right now. So our work for today on day 34, Yesod Sheba Hod, is to allow ourselves to imagine, and maybe we won't have to, maybe it will be a turn of events and the weather will be great tomorrow, so we won't have to imagine it, but maybe we're going to have to imagine it if it's not so perfectly played out on day 34. But imagine yourself or sit in the reality of something in the natural world. You know, for Rachel, it's always beautiful there in California, as long as there's no fire and downwind. But imagine yourself in the place. Something in the natural world draws you, fills you with appreciation, with awe. It could be a tree, it could be an open field, it could be the smell of the ocean, a rock, the sky at the end of the evening. Imagine it as fully as you can let yourself with each and every detail. You know, we all have those photos that we can remember from who knows how many years ago. And every detail is so vivid in your mind. And maybe it's something from nature, out with family, playing, whatever it is. And maybe it's not. But that's what we want to draw ourselves to. The detail of every second of that imagined moment within creation, in the natural world. Imagine it as, or be in it either, as fully as you can let yourself be, with the sensations of that which we're seeing, or feeling, or being. That is your gift of presence. Being present in the presence of oneness is to say, here I am sitting or imagining the beauty that exists even when I can't see it. Feel the power and the wisdom of those moments. It only takes a moment, but allow yourself more moments than one. The flowing of that sensation in your body as you connect to the natural world gives us strength, gives us insight, reminds us that we are interconnected. The soul that we house and hold wants to keep us in alignment, wants us to feel the foundation beneath, and also the strength and the truth that holds us in that place. Psalm 34 verse 9 says, experience fully, something in my eye, the goodness that unfolds. Content is the person who takes refuge in the mystery. Together, we're part of that unfolding of the natural world, of the foundation that is set for us and the one that we set for others. It is more than a pleasure. It's an honor to be here with you each and every night. Margaret and Bonnie, Linda, Bet, Debbie, Samantha and Donna, Rachel and Marnie. Bonnie I already got because she was up there early today. Margaret, a safe place to connect. That's right, Linda. I water my houseplants on Sundays. It's a huge miracle that they're still alive. I say that too. I posted some pictures on social media today, if you have a chance to see what my last 2 days have been of so many things. And I noticed like there's a plant in the background of one of those pictures that I don't even know when the last time is watered, but they're still alive. So I feel you. Thank you, Rachel. We love you too. Wish only that we could see each other, in reality, but I'm grateful that you're here each and every night. And I'm grateful that you get time with Marnie. How lucky are you? And so let us remember. Let us remember as we go into this day 34, we started it together. We're looking for contentment. The goodness that is going to unfold for all of us is within the foundation that we allow ourselves to stand upon within the presence of oneness. We are one human family, one heart of abundant love. We love you, and guess what? We'll see you tomorrow morning, 9:30. For those of you that are going out to the parade and you will miss it, you'll rewatch. That's Bonnie, because, she wouldn't miss a parade. Well, I just put the pressure on. Don't feel guilted into it. For those of you that are not going to the parade, let's just make sure that at some point tomorrow we stop for a moment to really find gratitude in our hearts for those that paid the ultimate sacrifice, those that continue to sacrifice, and those generations that will sacrifice that we might not even know to keep our freedoms alive. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 Od Avinu Chai. Laila Tov, everyone. A restful night. A night of meaning, of renewal, rest, and relaxation. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9:30.